A woman and her husband head to a countryside villa for a getaway. Looking to spice things up, the husband handcuffs her to the bed as part of a thrill. But in the middle of it all, he suddenly suffers a fatal medical episode and dies, leaving her chained to the bed for 5 long hours. Desperate to break free, she grits her teeth through the pain, snaps one of her own hand bones, and yanks with everything she has. Somehow, it works. Ecstatic, she jumps off the bed, rips apart the wooden headboard, and heads for the door, ready to escape. But just as she starts to believe it was that simple, she turns around only to realize she's still sitting on the bed. The crushing physical and psychological strain has triggered a hallucination. She shuts her eyes and forces herself to calm down. As night approaches, she knows she has to find a way to call for help. That's when she spots a cell phone on the bedside table. She inches her body toward it, straining to reach, but it's always just out of range. Exhausted, she has no choice but to give up. The struggle leaves her parched. She remembers that before everything happened, her husband placed a glass of water on the wooden shelf above the bed. Carefully, she slides the handcuffs higher, grips the board with both hands, and tilts it forward to spot the cup. Then she slowly raises one side, letting the glass slide down the board into her waiting hand. Just when she finally gets it, a new problem arises. Her hands are still bound, and she can't bring the cup to her mouth. Frustrated, she sets it back. Then she recalls that earlier that morning, she had casually tossed the tag from her new dress onto the same shelf. She feels around and finds it. Rolling the tag into a makeshift straw, she places it between her lips, retrieves the cup with her other hand, and greedily drinks through it. After 2 gulps, she forces herself to stop. She has no idea how long she'll be trapped here. She needs to ration what little she has and prepare for the worst. On the floor, a stray dog gnaws at her husband's corpse. The gruesome sight makes her nauseous. Time drags on. Her eyelids grow heavy as the overwhelming stress pushes her to the brink of collapse, and she begins to lose consciousness. Around midnight, the dog lying near the door suddenly spots something and bolts in panic. Half asleep, the woman is jolted awake by a strange noise. In her haze, she thinks she sees a shadow standing in the corner of the room. Assuming it's another hallucination, she squeezes her eyes shut and opens them again, but the figure is now beside the bed, wearing an eerie smile. It opens a case in its hand, revealing it filled with glittering jewelry. Unable to bear the sight, she clamps her eyes shut, willing the terror to dissolve into darkness. At dawn, she wakes in agony. Her hands, restrained for so long, have lost circulation and begun to cramp. The pain is so intense she screams uncontrollably. Once she regains composure, she notices her husband's body has started to decompose, attracting swarms of flies. Then she spots something chilling: human footprints in the dried blood on the floor. Was the figure she saw last night real? Was it death itself? Overcome with fear, she closes her eyes again, praying none of it is real. Sometime later, she feels something wet brush against her foot. She jerks her leg away in terror. As dusk approaches once more, she realizes she can't just sit there and wait to die. She has to try to survive. Even if the stray dogs don't finish her off, dehydration certainly will. Then she remembers something from childhood when her hand was once cut by broken glass. And suddenly, she comes up with a plan.